Hi, this is Zach from Evvr. In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily install the Evvr In-Wall Relay Switch to control a single light bulb or a group of lights using this existing one-gang wall switch. Let's begin.
First of all, let me introduce the product. The Evvr In-Wall Relay Switch is a two-part product. Here we have the Smart Relay, and here we have the Smart Switch subassembly. For the Smart Relay, this is installed near the light or light fixture itself. It supports almost any type of light bulb, incandescent, halogen, LED, you name it. There is no minimum load requirement, and once installed, your lights will be 100% flicker free. Then, for the Smart Switch subassembly, this installs near the mechanical switch for the light itself. It's incredibly small, incredibly compact, needs no neutral wire for installation. Two of these can fit in almost any electrical box, which means this supports up to 4 gang wall switches. Although this is a two-part product, you don't necessarily have to install the Smart Switch subassembly if you don't plan on using the mechanical light switch to control your lights. However, we do still recommend installing this because by installing it, you ensure that the Smart Relay in the lighting fixture always is delivered power, which means even if you accidentally turn the mechanical light switch off, you can still control the Smart Relay over Wi-Fi. The Evvr In-Wall Relay Switch is also a hardwired solution, which means even if your internet or Wi-Fi completely cuts out, you can still control your lights using the mechanical light switches. Now let's take a look inside these boxes. We'll start with the Smart Relay. When we open this box, we will first find a small mounting screw, followed by the Smart Relay itself. At the bottom, we'll find an instruction manual, as well as a double-sided foam pad. For the Smart Switch subassembly, when we open this up, we will first find 2 panel connector wires, followed by the Smart Switch subassembly itself, and at the bottom, the instruction manual. You'll notice that the Smart Switch subassembly does not have a separate foam pad. That is because we already have one installed on the back. Evvr offers different HomeKit, Zigbee, and Z-Wave versions of the in-wall relay switch system. Here we need 1 Smart Switch subassembly and 1 Smart Relay. For this demonstration, we will be using the HomeKit version of the Evvr In-Wall Relay Switch system. First, a word of caution. These devices should only be installed by a qualified and licensed electrician. Please make sure to follow all of your local guidelines and legislation for electrical installation. Also, before installing the in-wall relay switch, we must make sure that the power is off at the main breaker or electrical service panel. Also, let's prepare these 3 tools for later: voltage tester, cable cutter, and screwdriver. Once we've confirmed that the power is off, we're ready to begin the installation. Note that you can install these in either order, it doesn't really matter, but for this demonstration, we will start by installing the Smart Switch subassembly. First, remove the faceplate from the wall switch. As you can see, we've got European standard wiring. The live wire is brown and the load wire is black. Note that the standard color codes for these wires varies from region to region and country to country. If you're a bit uncertain about the wire color, you can try briefly turning on the power at the breaker and carefully testing each wire with a voltage tester. If you find a wire that always has a voltage, regardless of if the switch is turned on or off, this should be the live wire. The other wires should have no voltage or current flow when the switch is off. Once you've decided which color means what, you can go ahead and turn off the power at the breaker to proceed. Now we can connect the live wire to the L connector at the top of the Smart Switch subassembly, and connect the load wire to the L1 connector at the top of the subassembly. Next, we can take one of the 2 panel connector wires found in the box of the Smart Switch subassembly and insert it into the SW1 external switch control on the subassembly. Then we take in our hand the mechanical light switch that we just removed from the electrical box, find the small red or white wire, and connect it to the L1 terminal on the light switch. Then we find the small black wire and connect it to the L terminal on the light switch. Installation of the Smart Switch subassembly is now complete, and we can put it back into the electrical box. Alright, now that we're finished with the Smart Switch subassembly, we can move on to the Smart Relay. We start by removing the cover of the light fixture as usual. Once open, detach the 2 wires that go into the light bulb. Find the live wire and connect that to the L terminal at the top of the smart relay. Then find the neutral wire and connect that to the first N terminal on the top of the smart relay. Fasten both of these screws. Then find the live wire from the light and connect that to the out terminal at the top of the smart relay. Finally, find the neutral wire from the light and connect that to the remaining in port on the top of the smart relay. Fasten those screws as well. Once you make sure the connections are good and the screws are properly tightened, go ahead and take the smart relay and the light fixture and put them back in place.
Now we can go back to the breaker and turn the electricity on to make sure everything is properly connected. If we did it right, then when we flip the switch, the light should turn on as well.
All right, now we have completed the physical installation. The next step is to scan the respective QR codes to set up the smart relays on your network. To keep this video short, we have skipped demonstrating this in this video, but you can find an in-depth tutorial for adding the relay switch to Apple HomeKit in the video description below. For adding the Zigbee or Z-Wave versions of the In-Wall Relay Switch to their respective networks, please follow the instructions provided with your Zigbee 3.0 or Z-Wave gateway.
As you can see, you can now control the light both from your phone and the original mechanical wall switch. As I said at the beginning of the video, even if you have the switch turned off, you can still control the light using your phone over the internet.
Next, I'm going to take this one step further and show you how you can install smart relays for a group of lights connected to one mechanical switch. There are two different ways to approach this that lead to two different controlling environments. The first one would be to take one smart relay and attach it to the parallel connection point for that group of lights. This way, you can control that group of lights together, either by the mechanical wall switch or control them together via the internet. There's also another way to do this. That is to take one smart relay for each light fixture in the group of lights. In this way, by using the mechanical wall switch, you can control all the lights as a group, but using the internet, you can control each smart relay, that is, each individual light in the light group separately. So, for the following demonstration, we will choose option number 2 that I just mentioned. We will show you how to install smart relays for each individual light fixture in the light group, while the entire light group as a whole is controlled by one mechanical switch. So, to install option number 2, we take one smart switch subassembly for the light switch box and 3 smart relays for these 3 spotlights. We've already shown you earlier in the video how to install both the smart switch subassembly and the smart relays on a single bulb. Now, all we need to do is repeat the smart relay installation process for these 3 spotlights. Simple. So now that we're done with the installation, it is safe to turn the electricity back on. If we wired everything properly, then when we flip the mechanical switch, all the lights turn on as well. So as you can see, using the mechanical light switch on the wall, I can turn on all of the group of lights together as a unit. However, on my phone, I not only can do that, but I can control each light in the group of lights individually. That's it for this video. Now, it's time for you to start enjoying the Evvr In-Wall Relay Switch in your home.